Around 20 minutes, you show the things, sir, like this basketball.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, sir. And hello
Okay.
and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host, Sri Iyer. Joining me today is Professor RV, and we're going to be talking about rules for corporates and non-corporates. Namaskaram, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, except flight disruption in India, but I am
Yes.
not flying anywhere, so it is only watching it. That's all. Okay. Thank you.
Sir, today we are going to be talking about ease of doing business at the corporate level as well as in the non-corporate, which is, I think, still the majority of business in India is non-corporate, meaning like it's either PSUs or government itself. The ease of doing business continues to be a challenge, Professor RV. It's not anything I take it, right. It gets more and more procedural, more and more red tape. It's in the name of trying to curb some malfeasance. Everybody gets hit with more regulation. That's how I see it. Your thoughts, sir?
Okay. Thank you very much, Hayat. Thanks for P Guru's opportunity. And thanks, of course, my friend Sachin Sharma for all
Today is
the
his
effort.
birthday, sir. Let's wish him happy birthday.
Oh, best of birthday and blessings for a
He's
very
gone to temple.
good.
He has not come back yet. So I'm manning this the controls also. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, very good. Let my blessings be given to him for the fruitful next year. Very good news. Okay, now we are looking at the issue of ease of doing business, which is now the most talked about thing. Everybody want to talk about ease of doing business, but unfortunately, when we talk about ease of doing business, we are only looking at corporate sector or what is called the company sector, because we feel that if all the NSE companies and BSC companies are having ease of doing business, then everything is fine. Even within that, our focus is much more on the listed, within listed, something like the Sensex 30 or Nifty 50 type of companies. That is the main type of a focus. Very unfortunate, actually. If you look at our economy situation, very broadly, if you look at it, agriculture is something like 17-18%, and we have manufacturing sector, which is something like 20%. Services constitute 60 and above 60%. Actually, services are the largest component of the economy, and services mean immediately people think of Narayan Murthy, and the ITES services maybe 5 to 6% of the GDP. That's all. Not all. And the majority of the services are owned by what you may loosely call partnership proprietorship firms, or what is called the non-corporate sector of the Indian economy. And so that is how we categorize it. If we go into share of different sectors in NDP, we will find agriculture is roughly say 17%, and government will be something like 18 to 20%. Corporate will be something like 14 to 15% only at most, and the so-called these listed corporate will be much smaller, won't be even 10%, and all the brains we are wasting ourselves in terms of the Nifty and Sensex will be around 6 to 7%, and the non-corporate is actually roughly 50%. So that is the non-corporate mean partnership proprietorship. And this Aravind Subramaniam and that other person Raghuram Rajan time, they created chaos in the formulation, statistical formulation. They created a new terminology of pseudo corporate or whatever it is. It's something like partly pregnant. You can be either pregnant or not pregnant. According to me, whatever the modern people may argue, you can't be partly pregnant. Even the worst, so what one can call liberals in US will agree with me on this issue, that but they created a thing, and they also created a new thing of implementing GVA, gross value added. All over the world, GDP is the most common with all the criticism and limitation. GDP is accepted. Anyhow, they created havoc. So we will not go into that because their havoc has created more problem than solving them actually. So roughly, unincorporated or what we call partnership proprietorship is 50% of the thing. Where are they dominant? Incidentally, even in manufacturing, they are roughly 50%. Note my word. Even in manufacturing sector, their share is roughly 50%. And for other activities like construction, wholesale trade and retail trade, then transport, including other than railways, of course. Railways is everybody knows central government. Hotels and restaurant, real estate activities, and all other services, fitter, plumber, carpenter, and something like 67 services are there. All the trades, all these are occupied by non-corporate sector. ITES is roughly of the order of 5 to 6% only, even though we focus more because it's people like us, who are working in ITES. So we also tend to think that there, it's not it's not unimportant. Let me make it very clear because I am speaking from Bangalore, so I should be very cautious. ITES is not unimportant, but it's not such a dominant role in the entire scheme of the economy. Now, if you look at, so they become the drivers of growth. Government is not a driver of growth. Government is not a driver of anything for that matter. It's not only driver of growth and not the private corporate. The drivers of growth are these non-corporate people, and it is required to focus on their ease of doing business much more. Whenever we talk about reforms, we talk about either public sector, private sector on one side, or foreign institutional investors versus domestic, and these are not as critical as the reform for the non-corporate sector. Our reforms have focused after PV Narasimha Rao time mainly on licensing, industrial policy, import export, corporate taxation, as well as issues of manufacturing facilitating and freeing trade from many of the restrictions, etc. They have not focused on the non-corporate side at all. Unfortunately, much of the regulatory framework on non-corporate falls in the state government domain. So, it is required for the central. Currently, BJP is in a large number of states, except in perhaps Punjab and Himachal Pradesh, then Telangana and Tamil Nadu, Kerala. All other states are BJP states. So the state should start implementing significant amount of reforms in order to help this group. This group, what type of reforms are required is, I will read out. The reforms needed are in commercial tax, and now it is part of the GST. So one portion of it is state GST, other portion is the central GST. Road tax, then entertainment tax, excise duty on liquor, which is still with the state government, urban land sealing and regulation with the state government, shops and establishment act, one of the draconian local regulation, educational medical institution regulations, money lending regulation, stamp duties, food and adulteration act, water power drainage regulatory, registration and contracts. All of these are affecting our non-corporate sector. And all of them have got main issue of corruption and bribery. One of the small hoteliers known to me says the ease of doing business is, they say that it is to be linked with that we have to follow the rules and procedures. Rules and procedures to be followed is nothing but having a drawer full of cash. He is very clear about it. Let's take some examples. Food and Adulteration Act. A city like Bangalore may have some dozen food inspectors covering some lakhs of establishment. All small hotels and restaurant they have to go and inspect. And primarily, what I understand or I have seen is envelope 500 rupee or 1000 rupee is put and given to them on a Saturday, every Saturday. Most of them are millionaires, let me tell you. All these local regulation people are all periodically we see, raid has been conducted in an RTO office and they recovered something like 15 lakh or 20 crores or you know in one RTO office in Bangalore. This was in the 80s. Normally, when these Lokayukta raids take place, it is informed in advance so that they keep everything in order. But this raid was really genuine raid, I think, and the fellows didn't know what to do with the cash they have collected. At that time, there was a rule which was introduced by, those days Minister Basavaya, that you have to enter in the register the amount of cash you are having when you enter the office, and when you leave the office you have to enter again. But that was not much enthusiastically followed. Anyhow, what they did was, you believe me, it came in the newspapers also. They flushed much of the cash in the toilet. Some of the remaining, they are not able to do it. They threw it out of the window. The RTO office was in the second floor. Uh, so the cash was flowing in the streets, and the public at large assembled in large numbers to collect them. And this became a very major issue. And this was talked about for some time and then forgotten. Point is, all these nodal points of regulatory framework at state level is for corruption. Lot of estimates indicate at least 20% of our GDP is in the form of black money and corruption. Our GDP of the order of, let's take approximately 300 lakh crores. So 20% of it comes to uh, something like 60 lakh, 50 to 60 lakh crores. Every year it is generated, and it's generated in the form of cash. We have been telling for a long period of time, and of course, we have been telling many things, but somebody has to listen to it. We have been telling that keep 5 lakh cash as the maximum limit an individual can hold. Anything more than that, per se, is a crime. It's not required for somebody to prove that it is disproportionate to his sources of income and other things. And nowadays, because of the introduction of this technology, almost even the retail traders who is selling vegetables and other thing also are using the GPay and other type of methods. So the cash transactions have become much lesser. Many of my friends are telling they have not carried cash at all in the last few months. They are only taking their mobile phones, and so it's possible to regulate in terms of more than, because all this bribery has to be given in the form of cash only. It cannot be given in the form of check as of now. So government can try to make the ease of doing business for this group. This is very critical. So another one is called this Food and Adulteration Act. I was mentioning to you that inspector is supposed to come and inspect. And I asked this small hotel fellow, why are you giving money? He says, sir, if I don't, then he will pull down the shutter. He will say that some mosquito was there, some cockroach was there, or something in your dish. And then I have to wait till Monday for the court to open and then proceed. And it takes a lot of time. Even if I disprove what he says, Maximum punishment he will get is he will be shifted from this zone to another zone. That's all. There is no other type of a. So it's a harassment of the highest order. Enlightened self-interest is there. Even a panipuri seller on, say, in this beach at Chennai or at Bombay, he is not going to sell something which is harmful to anyone, because the next day the people won't come to him, because it will spread like, uh, word of mouth. It will spread very fast. I was appointed wrongly in a committee for this Food and Adulteration Act. Mostly I am appointed wrongly only, not rightly for any of the committee. So at the end of it, the chief secretary asked me, "What is your idea?" I told, "Scrap this act completely. It's not required." He was shocked actually. He told, "Sir, many people will say that. Uh, so this many people will say that this is harmful to health of people." I asked him, "Give me a list of people who have died eating in restaurants in this city." He said, "No, not necessarily death, but stomachache. Stomachache can come even if you eat at home. Hopefully, you don't send food inspectors to every home to look at it. That will be chaotic, but that will be very enthusiastically accepted by the government, because the inspectors can earn more. He can knock at your door in the morning and say, 'I want to check whether everything is not.'" I told, there is a issue of enlightened self-interest. If every hotel gives you a dosa with a cockroach, the girl immediately will take a picture of it in the current times using the selfie. So she, dosa, and cockroach will come in the selfie, and it will be circulated within a matter of hour. It will go to up to Venezuela. So the level of social media and the level of self and no enlightened self-interest will combine together to see that, and nobody in his senses will try to supply you something which is harmful to you or to your uh, person. Other is Shops and Establishment Act. I wish all of you go through that bulky compendium. It runs into hundreds of pages with some hundreds of pages of appendix and addenda and corrections and other thing. The Shops and Establishment Act, one minister told an assembly in South India, if it has to be implemented, he said 99% of the shops have to be closed. He openly admitted it. It's not possible, according to him, and that act is there essentially for government official to make money, nothing more. So, for instance, it says that the surroundings should be very clean and neat. Every day I go to buy bread for my dog. My dog wants fresh bread. That is another stupidest thing, not the previous day bread. Bread which comes hot in the morning. I go to the shop. There is a nalla between the road and the shop, and there is a wooden plank which takes me to the shop. Through that wooden plank, I have to climb and go and get the bread and come back every day. As per Shops and Establishment Act, this shop should be closed. It is supposed to have sunlight coming in. It is supposed to have sitting arrangement. I have yet to see a retail shop where I can have a sitting arrangement. I have to sit on his rice bag. If at all, I have to organize myself to sit. Anyhow, shop should not have rats. Do you believe that a shop without a rat? So this is the type of framework which is, these are all copied from European and American, and then put it. And when some visitors come or something, these are shown, and those people think that we have an excellent type of a regulatory framework. The fundamental thing in India you should know is, there is something called a policy, there is something called a practice. We have banking policy and practice, a course in India, taxation policy and practice, contract policy and practice. In all other countries, banking policy is a course. in chartered accountancy and commerce. Taxation policy is a course. Only in India we have taxation policy and practice. So I asked one of my senior, highly respected person in government in this finance area, why this practice? He told, very simple, sir. The policy is for the books. Practice is actually what we practice regularly, which, according to me, I understood as bribery. That's all. There is nothing more or nothing less. So, we have all these nice things in books, but it is primarily for harassment of these small people. So, we have so many of these acts, most of them can be scrapped. And enlightened self interest. I'll give you an example. One of the cities in Western India, this lift in apartment buildings, you might have seen. There will be a notice telling this has been inspected on such and such a date, and that will expire on such and such a date. And this is another racket. Most of the time, they come and paste and go away. They don't do any other serious inspection or anything. So this sit down decided to abolish this whole thing. They told the people who are residing there will have an enlightened self interest not to have a damaged lift or non working lift or something, because the children, elderly people, and so many people will be affected. So the law was modified to say if something drastic happened, severe punishment, monetary and otherwise, will be levied on the residents of the apartment buildings, that is, those who are running the show, Resident Welfare Association or whatever it is. And after that, there was no, actually, there was more concern and more regular checkup and other thing taking place. What I want to say is many of these regulations can be scrapped and it can be left to the non-corporate sector, and there can be exceptional type of a involvement in punishing them or providing severe penalty on them or something like that. High time we look at the type of regulatory framework which is mostly from the point of view of the state governments, and it is required for the central authority to tell the state government to clean up this whole situation. And whether it is RTO, whether it is land registration. For instance, registrar of land is one of the most lucrative type of an activity. Somebody asked me in Delhi in some seminar how to increase our GDP. I told you very simple. Collect in an Excel sheet all the land registrar of all the state governments for the last 10-15 years up to peon level in the land registrar office. So we will have an Excel sheet of some 1,200 or 1,500 people, and completely take over all their assets, nationalize it. We will find that we will have enough of our assets base in order to increase our GDP. This is the simplest thing. We can reach our GDP of 5 trillion much faster. So there is everybody agrees at the lower level, there is a huge amount of bribery and corruption by government in the name of regulation. So ease of doing business should start from there. It should touch my vegetable vendor. It should touch the local level of, and all of them. My surveys, I have published it also in my books. You can see varying between 20 to 25% of the sales turnover is given in the form of this gratis bribery. That is the picture which is available, not a small amount. Kindly note, a person like Ambani, or they have a huge department to take care of this. They have a huge number of lawyers, chartered accountants who will fight the case, till uh, till the death of the income tax officer, not till their death. So they can do it. But a small businessman, he is the one who is, he is the salesman, he is the manufacturing man, he is the accounting man, is the finance. Everything is one man show or two men show. They will not be in a position to carry on a very large scale type of a uh, conflict with the regulatory authorities. So the most important way in which they can deal with it is to just bribe your way through. That's all. Nothing more or nothing less. It's a very pathetic type of a situation because it is increasing the cost of our economy. But we are focusing on, for instance, today there is headline news telling Reserve Bank has reduced the repo rate by quarter percent. That is 25 basis point. It's a big news. I am amused for two reasons. One is there is no guarantee that the banks will pass it on to the public. So many times in the past, RBI has reduced the. Have they ever conducted a thorough study of what is the transmission of the interest rate to the ultimate consumer or ultimate customers? That is one. Second is only noted 40% of the aggregate credit in our country for business is from banks and large NBFCs. Other 60% comes from money lenders as well as from caste associations and extended family. In that we have an absurd regulation from RBI starting at the Chidambaram finance minister time. Even today it is continuing. The big money lenders can lend but not borrow. Can you see any absurd regulation anywhere in the world like this? How can you lend without borrowing? Nobody can explain, and nobody follows this incidentally. But there is a strict regulation about it. So 60% comes from all these other type of thing, which is not covered by your MPC. We have monetary policy committee at the official level. Then there are shadow monetary policy committee. That is another racket going on in Delhi, Bombay, and other experts and various economists work on it, and then they say it should be reduced by quarter percent or half a percent or whatever it is. What I want to say is our ability to focus on inconsequential and immaterial is phenomenal. We spend a lot of time, acres of pages and gallons of ink. Nowadays, of course, it's not gallons of ink; it's gallons of computer printers ink. So we spend on that, and then we want to say that reforms have to come. But reform has to come at the. We have the interest rate by bank may be 12%, but the borrowing rate by most of these non-corporate people is around 24 to 26%. Sometimes it is even called tsunami interest, which goes up to 1% per day. Kindly note, this is not discussed or this is not talked about, but this is one of the primal activity of our economy. So most important is we should start from the bottom. We should start from the bottom. We should, you know, have a close look at ease of doing business by these small people, and then we can go into top level ease of. More or less at the cabinet level today, there are no accusation of corruption and other things. Nothing has come out so far at that level. But that is only one dimension of the issue. More important dimension is the retail level, the non-corporate level, and kindly note they are the fastest growing, significantly contributing drivers of our economy. They are growing at more than 8% to 9% per annum for the last so many years. So we should respect those who contribute significantly to our economy. We should make their life simpler and make them smile much more, and come out of this complete bravery come business linkages at the lower level, which has become some sort of accepted in the sense it's okay type of thing, not a very desirable thing. So ease of doing business should focus on the non-corporate sector in India. That is what is most important, not the big companies who have got a huge amount of chartered accountant and lawyers who can fight their causes and other things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And let's take a couple of questions now. JUSON. Please tell me why I have to pay GST when purchasing a ETF.
You know, the GST has been, imposed on many things, including ETF. So there is no question of why I have to pay. Should I pay? No. But, GST cannot exclude certain categories of financial investments.
Look, the way the taxation goes, and anyway, let's not go there now. That goes into a different topic. Varga wants to know: is our DGCA incorporated to release a rule and airline go berserk, and then DGCA does not consider impact analysis of passenger safety rules? Many such policy reversals happening soon and early.
Oh, this was just we were discussing with, I was
Indigo,
discussing, yeah,
yeah.
Indigo. It's not just DGCA has considered quite a long time before. It is, I would say, it is Indigo's responsibility to have considered the impact. Indigo did not bother to worry about the nature of the implications in implementing it. And they have very low amount of pilots per aircraft in the whole industry. When everybody is having 20 pilots or 19 pilots per aircraft, they have something like 12 or 13 only, if I remember. So it is their issue. They didn't want to. A month before itself, DGCA has. I'm not trying to justify. DGCA is one of the most incompetent organizations in the whole of country. But in this particular case, Indigo is also equally responsible. Okay.
Next one, please. Melbourne wants to know why can't our government survive on tariffs like what Trump is doing in the US?
Our trade is not so much as in US. Our trade could come to something like 14 or 15% only, completely. Both import and export compared to our national income of 300 lakh crores. So I don't think we would be able to live on tariff like what Trump could be. And plus, US is in a dominant position in terms of having a significant amount of import from some products from many countries. So they could afford it. We are not in such a dominant position in terms of we are decision takers, not decision makers. Okay.
Kajan wants to know the global viewers here, for them, do you think that corruption happens when legislation is not updated for the current time?
No, legislation can be updated, but corruption can continue to grow unless and until at the grassroots level, state level, municipal level, we take sincere action against corruption. One of the thing I suggested is a cash of more than 5 lakh can be considered as a crime in any circumstance. Okay.
Next one, please. Thought provocateur wants to know how about reducing the ease of doing corruption instead?
That's a good point. He said, you mean we can fix the rate and announce it in advance so that things can be much more easier for the participants.
Sir, there are things that are deliberately made to be complex when they don't have to be. For example, there is a property transaction. You said about the famous registrar office. There you have to give formalities. Formalities from the head person all the way to the peon, and the peon's dog also needs to get something. Why can't these people automatically notify property tax guys, electricity board, water? Because that is this is where your root is. Why can't they automatically notify all these people? And then what happens is your bill starts coming in your name to the house you reside. No, it's not like that today. You have to go to a separate place to go and register for property tax. You have to go to a separate place to go and get the thing changed in electricity. Not needed. This is how you take care of corruption. I
No,
don't
sir,
I
I
don't
will
mind
tell you one
paying,
thing.
sir.
I went for a cremation of a very elderly person couple of weeks before. There is a very clear cut board which says that 250 rupees is the amount. Electric crematorium it is, not the wood crematorium. But the pandits who accompanied us, it carried 3,000 rupees with him. He told less than that. Only after giving that, they were very enthusiastic. He would have pushed me also inside the. Uh,
Buy
he
one
was
get
very
one free.
buy one get one free. What I want to say is, then I was talking to that lady. How many bodies you get per day? She said around 10, sir, in a normal day. Saturday, Sunday also people die. Kindly remember that. Don't think second Saturday people don't die. Another thing. So every day people die. So 10 per day comes to at 30,000 rupees, and per month how much, and per annum how much. Then I asked her, what do you do with this money? She told, it's not all are not mine. Up to 6 lakh per annum I get it. The remaining portion goes up to the minister level. This is in a crematorium. Kindly note, it's not any other place or anything. It's a very nasty thing, but this is what is happening. And so she also made a very pertinent observation. To get this post, I have to pay 12 lakh. And with the condition that 2 years I will not be removed from here so that I can recover my investment. Sir, today to join in government you have to pay. To get a good posting in government you have to pay. Within the government, I am telling. For instance, the Tanedar, the cop in my area, which is one of the lucrative areas, he openly told he has to pay in order to get that posting. And of course, after that, he is encouraged to earn, closing the eye type of a thing. So it's a enormously big task to look at these things. It's not you can order anything, and it's not going to immediately solve about it. I have seen support BJP by many times. You shared your experience of any West Bengal minister under CPM. Do you support trade unions or 70 hours working like M? These are not two alternatives you are suggesting. Either 70 hours or no working. That's not the thing. You can work 60 hours and not to believe in trade union, right? So it's not this either or type of a situation, I would say, right? By and large, trade unions have lost their moorings, compared to last century when you have this amount of working. And today, 80% of India is contract laborers. Where does trade union come? They are hired and fired as per the whims and fancies of the fellows who are, for instance, in any city, many people are not even aware of it. The private security is more than the police force. Every building, every factory, every organization has got a private security fellows. And that's one of the flourishing activity actually. And all of that is contract job. So it's not something which required to be thought about, right? I should add
Like,
one interesting anecdote. One IT company person was telling me in the early 90s. Then it was starting, and a lot of activity were there. One fellow, government fellow, came in the morning, and he told he's a boiler inspector. And these fellows said, we don't have any boiler, we don't have a shiler. We are IT. He didn't understand what is IT company, and that's one of the plus points for IT companies in those days because many in the government didn't understand what they were doing, and that's why they could flourish. If only government have understood, then it would have been dangerous. Anyhow, so the boiler inspector was curious. Is there an activity? You are in business. You have put a board, and yes, we are in business. We are a company. We are doing this, and but we don't have boilers. That fellow was, and he finally told, let's come to a compromise, as if, he is the judge and these fellows are accused. Normally, other companies give me X amount who have boilers. You don't have boiler, but you tell me half of the X. At least you should give me so that I can go away. So, this is the type of regulatory framework we have, what one can call. arranged ourselves with. Okay. Thank
Thank
you,
you so
sir.
much, sir. Always a pleasure having you on our channel. Viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back with Professor RV in 2 weeks' time. Namaskar.
And in between, in case you require.